when you are a human being inhabiting a human body, and you don't quite have that peace yet about what a powerful creator you are, the ability to create your own body is a fundamentally impressive place to start. Because when you see the results of your efforts, you will feel so empowered and so creative and so full of who you are that it takes you to the next step of what else can I do? If I can begin creating a new me in here, I can take that outward. I can take that somewhere else. If I can completely transform my body, I can completely transform the other areas of my life. In our culture, we do not have a fundamental belief in everything getting better. We don't. And maybe some of these other countries that you're talking about, there's a fundamental belief in life keeps getting better. You know, if I go to the doctor and he gives me a pill, I have a belief it's going to get better. I'm going to get better. Okay? In this country, you go to the doctor, you get a pill, you don't get better. You go back again, you don't get better. I mean, how many lawsuits do we have? How many people do we have that go to the doctor over and over and over? It's not working, until we get down to surgery, until we get down to, you know, it goes on and on and on with health, right? I wonder, and I don't know, but I wonder if that's a result of, in our culture, we don't have a fundamental belief in things get better and better. You know, we're watching TV. Does that ever tell us things get better and better and better? No! And in fact, the pharmaceuticals that they're advocating to us come with a long list that looks like we're going to get worse and worse. You know, I might have acid reflux, but now I'm going to have daily headaches and insomnia and sexual dysfunction, and I'm going to get ugly and old and fat, you know? And so I think that, again, back to our slogan, what the mind believes, the body achieves. And I think that in the American culture, we have not harnessed and, what's the word, nourished a sense that life can improve. We have a belief that once you hit a certain age, it's all downhill from there. And it's simply not true. I work with people in their 60s and 70s that can turn their entire lives around, you know? And I've seen people look 20 years younger just based off what's going into the pie hole. Because in our culture, we have a way of thinking that is very negatively entrenched, very media and industrially impacted. What I encourage people to do is embrace what I call elegant thinking. Elegant thinking. Elegant meaning simple, workable, and positive. Looks better and better, you know? And to take out all the noise and all the what ifs and all the confusion and all the, I mean, wow. I can say to somebody, eat a banana instead of a donut. And they say, well, with Atkins, you don't eat bananas. And, you know, I heard bananas are high in sugar and blah, 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 blah. I mean, on and on and on and on, worrying about the damn banana. You know what? The banana grew on a tree. Eat the banana. The donut, you don't know where that came from and what happened to that donut. You know, it's that simple. But in our culture, we're so used to the negative, negative, negative that even a comparison between a piece of fruit and a donut becomes a huge, huge argument or discussion. Shouldn't have to be. Not with just simple, elegant thinking, you know, just bringing that thinking down. But back to that placebo effect, which is where we started, I really think that the difference in placebo effects is going to be the difference in the way people think, you know? If you have an individual that believes things can get better and has a fundamental belief in getting better and wants to get better, huge, huge, because in our culture a lot of people are very attached to their diseases and their illnesses and their problems. We get very attached to those. We don't like them taken away. We wrap our identities around them, and the media supports that. So a person like that, are they going to respond to a placebo? They're probably not going to respond to much, you know? And a person who really wants to get better, you give him a placebo, yeah, he's got the magic answer, he's on his way. I was visiting with my son a couple months ago, and it was not long after his second hernia operation in 2 months. And he was feeling very poorly, and he had a long, slow recovery. And my son has certain foods that are highly inflammatory to him and have been his entire life, and he's aware of them, but hadn't shifted his lifestyle enough to make room for those things. In other words, he's allergic to wheat and dairy, and he has a lifestyle that he ate a lot of fast food and sandwiches, and his body was breaking down. He couldn't put on weight. He was tired all the time. He had dark circles under his eyes. He couldn't grow muscle. He was depressed, and he was doing whatever he could to try to feel better in the way of substances. Smoking cigarettes and eating more sugar and doing things that he was trying to feel better. And he was kind of caught up in a toilet bowl of a state of health. And so he was talking to me about how he was feeling, and he was talking to me about wanting to feel better, and he was talking to me about health. And you know, the conversation was getting long, and finally I looked at him and I said, really, it's a matter of how bad you want to feel. How bad do you want to get? You're on your second surgery. You can barely walk down the block. You're depressed. You have no energy. How bad do you need it to get? And that kind of threw him up against the wall. That made sense for him. That made sense for him because he was in that state where he felt so bad, and he so badly wanted to be better. And having that straightforward question of how bad do you need it to get? And you know, we're all in that position. You're all in that position. If you're watching this, it's because you want change, you know? And the bottom line is, how bad do you need it to get? Does that mean that you go on a diet? Does that mean that we start taking supplements? I mean, we don't know where to start. Just like where my son was sitting when we had this conversation. He didn't know where to start. And what it comes down to, I believe, when it comes to our state of health is the result of our choices, of our habits, ultimately of our lifestyle. And what Genesis Transformation does that's very different than dieting is that we embark on a lifestyle transformation. We begin where we are, and we incrementally and slowly, enjoyably, move somewhere else. And so that my son, starting where he was on a diet of fast food and cigarettes and caffeine and alcohol, could move this much, and 2 months later he's got muscles, and his eyes are a little brighter, and his skin is better and clear. And has he stopped eating fast food? No. Has he stopped smoking cigarettes? No. But you know what? He cut out some of those things that were hurting him. He's eating way less wheat, and he very rarely eats dairy. And the changes are already starting to show in his body. And because he feels that much better, now he's got the impetus and the motivation to move a little bit further. Does he have to move from here, 180 over here, to get better and feel better? No, and none of us do. Lifestyle transformation means working with those little simple habits, choosing one thing, just one thing, different. You know, if you eat a donut every morning at your coffee break and you stop eating that donut every day, you're going to feel a little better. Might even drop a little weight, okay? If your habit is to drink 3 Diet Cokes a day and you stop drinking those 3 Diet Cokes, you're going to feel better. And so the point is not to go from wherever you are to 180 degrees. That's not going to work. We're human beings. We're physically attached. We're mentally attached. We're emotionally attached. We have crazy things wrapped around our habits.